Senthil Kumar, doing my research in resource management part of cloud computing. Resource management is very important research issue in cloud computing. The reason is very simple. Cloud infrastructure comprises of large number of computing infrastructures placed in one single location. If we don't have good resource management technique, then most of the computing resources goes idle or left unused. So that is the reason why I took this issue, and I am going to do a strong resource on how to effectively utilize these resources in cloud computing. First, introduction about cloud computing. Cloud computing is a new computing technique where all your computing resources are managed by a third party. You don't need to have a CPU, you don't need to have an operating system, or you don't need to worry about any viruses. All these worries are left to resource providers. You have to pay money only for what you're going to use. Assume if you are buying a PC with a good configuration, then maybe after 1 or 2 years your configuration will become older. Then that time you have to additionally invest money on purchasing a new hardware. But in case if you come to cloud computing, there is no need to purchase a new hardware on after some years. Those worries are handled by your resource provider, and you are going to pay money only when you use your resources. If you want to upgrade the operating system, then in a traditional computing technique you have to purchase an operating system and you have to install it in your computer, and you have to take care of upgrades and all the tasks. But in cloud computing, all these worries are taken care by your cloud provider. Next, research issues. So what are all the research issues available in cloud computing? The first research issue is cloud security. So what is cloud security? Here your entire data, entire organizational data is passed over the internet, and it is stored in your cloud service provider. So there is a chance for hacking in between using a traditional hacking techniques. So the research issues, the main, we can say this cloud security issues as the main research issue because of the need of importance of secure data. Then we have trust management. So what is trust management? In cloud computing, you are going to store your data in remote data center. So here how you trust your service providers as a genuine person who don't share your data with anyone. So these issues comes under this part. Then we have interoperability. So what is mean by interoperability? Interoperability means you already have your own computing resources, maybe that you purchased some 3 or 4 years back. Now you are going to use cloud computing as your IT resources. So what happened now? What happened to your old resources? It is still present in your organization, and still you are going to use your old infrastructure for your traditional computing task, and for better performance and a better CPU you are going to use cloud infrastructure. So here the interoperability issue deals with how your existing infrastructure works along with your new cloud infrastructure. Then we have green computing. So what is mean by green computing? So we can say green computing as a power aware computing. As I already told you, cloud computing consists of huge number of resources in it. Take an example. In a cloud computing data center, you have a rack with more than 15 systems, and in system number 1 the resource usage is 10%, and in system number 2 the resource usage is 20%. So what is the need of running these two servers? Simply we can migrate this resources, system number 2 resources a task into system number 1, and we can turn it off this server number 2. So this kind of issues. So what are all the issues that comes under this particular scenario? These are handled by this green computing issues part. Then we have double auction based scheduling. So double auction based scheduling in the sense how we are going to purchase the cloud computing resources. These issues comes under this particular part. Then we have scheduling. So how we are going to effectively schedule the task into server resources. Then we have resource management. This is my area, and here, as I already told you, I am going to explain about how to manage these resources effectively to provide cost effective solution to serve clients, as well as cost effective, that means a building of cost effective IT cloud infrastructure to the service provider. So this resource management part will provide a good amount of benefits to both customer and resource provider. Resource providers save huge money on investing on IT hardware. In the other side, client will save money on the client will save huge money for paying the use. Then we have scalability. Cloud computing is growing in nature. For an example, initially I may subscribe for one or two systems in my organization, and if I am satisfied with the service provided by client, then I will subscribe for 50 or 100 system. Though scalability is an important issue where it enables the cloud service provider to scale the computing resources dynamically within short time. We have horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. The research issues here deals with how scaling the infrastructure without affecting the existing live missions. Then SLA implementation. So SLA implementation, in the sense, it's service level agreement. So what do you mean by service level agreement? Service level agreement is an agreement that is signed between you and your service provider, where your service provider will give you some level of service agreements to you. This is SLA implementation, and in the research issue deals with what are all the issues that comes under this part. Next, I am moving to literature survey. By using this literature survey, I learned how some authors proposed methods to handle the resources effectively. The first paper, it is hierarchical approach for the resource management of very large cloud. So here, what is the objective of the work? The objective of the work is very simple: to manage the resources of very large cloud platform and guarantees the availability and minimizes energy cost. So here the author tries to reuse the existing cloud infrastructures in different time zone. Take an example, we have an ebay.in e-commerce portal. They have servers in US, they have servers in India, and they have servers in different parts of the globe. If the workload on US server is high during a business hours, and at the same time the workload on an Indian working hours is high on Indian timing, so what happened to the remaining timing? So remaining timing, most of the resources are left unused. Here the author proposing an approach to reuse this unused computing resources in that ideal time. And what is the proposed work here? The proposed work uses a scalable distributed hierarchical framework based on mixed integer nonlinear optimization of resource management acting at multiple time scales. Here the cloud computing infrastructures is divided into time scales. So what are all the methodology? Here we have one model called a central manager that partitions the workload and resources over a 24 horizon to obtain a cluster with homogeneous workload profile one day in advance. So here they are clustering the homogeneous workload profile one day in advance. Then we have another model called AM, that is application manager, that allocate the optimal resources to task on hourly basis. So what is mean by optimal resource? Normally a task have a require or an estimated weighted vector. So what is mean by estimated weighted vector? Estimated weighted vector is a estimated computing capacity required by the task to complete that particular operation in a optimal way. That is known as optimal resources to task. And here we should always assign the resources to task that is always greater than the optimal resource or the approximate time approximate vector. Then we have greedy core algorithm. So what is the use of greedy core algorithm? The greedy core algorithm allocates the application to the server on timely basis. Then we have class partitioning. Class partitioning is a technique where we are going to allocate a particular class of resources to a particular class of task. Not every task require high computing power. Some tasks may require a lower computing resources. In that case, we can easily divide the resources into classes, and we are going to assign those tasks that is matching to the appropriate classes. The second paper we are going to discuss is an efficient and trustworthy resource sharing platform for collaborative cloud computing. So what is the objective of the work? Here, to create an efficient and trustworthy resource sharing platform for collaborative cloud computing. So what is collaborative cloud computing? Collaborative cloud computing is nothing but a group of people or a group of resources working as a team to provide a computing resources. So what is the proposed work? The work enables to find the resources with the reputations to select the best resources for the task execution. So what is mean by a reputation management? Cloud computing comprises of large number of computing resources that come from different sources. Here at present we don't know about the reputation. So what is the need to provide a reputation? See, reputation is very important in our all parts of life. Think why we are purchasing a branded mobile instead of purchasing a normal China made mobile, because of the reputation. So here, while purchasing the cloud resources, reputation plays an important role. If you purchase a cloud resource without a reputation, then what assurance you have that cloud resource provider will provide you 100% uptime? So this is very important aspects of reputation management. The author here proposed an algorithm called Harmony that enables a node to locate its desired resources and also find the reputation of located resources, so that the client can choose resource providers not only on the resource availability but based on the reputation of the provided services. So if the client is happy with those resource providers, then he may choose for it, otherwise he may try to find another optimal resources. So what are all the algorithms used in this method? The first one is integrated resource and reputation management. In the past papers we discussed only about reputation management. Here the author going to integrate a reputation management into this resource management technique. So how they are providing this reputation management? So based on the performance, based on the existing performance of the resource, they are going to provide a ranking, and based on this ranking the client or a task may choose the cloud resource providers. Then we have multi-QoS oriented resource selection. So what is multi-QoS oriented resource selection? Here the task can predefine, or the task can ask for a multi-QoS, or the task can pass multi-QoS requirements along with the resource requirement. So here now, based on this multi-QoS, the task will get a better resource to execute it on a particular resource. Then we have price assisted resource and reputation control. So what is price assisted reputation and resource control? If you go for a reputation control, then most of the top reputed clouds resource providers always charge you more. So how you provide a convenience of providing a task to select a cloud, to select a reputed cloud based on the price. This is very important aspects. I already talked about the brand. So brand means if you go for a Samsung mobile, that cost you more. If you go for a Micromax mobile, that cost you less. But both are branded and both are reputed. So we should allow the task to we should allow the task to take the resources based on price. So these are the techniques proposed in this paper. Then we have another paper that is on the optimal allocation of virtual resources in cloud computing network. So what is the objective of the work? To allocate virtual resources effectively in cloud computing network. So what are virtual resources? Virtual resources sits in your cloud service provider infrastructure, and you are going to assign the cloud virtual resources to your task or your client. So what is the proposed work here? The proposed work provides an efficient method for mapping the resource request on a shared substrate interconnecting various islands of computing resources. So what is various islands of computing resources? It is nothing but a distributed computing resources that is located in multiple parts of the world. Methodology. Here the use of optimal networked cloud mapping problem as a mixed integer programming to find the suitable resource for task. So what is cloud mapping problem? So cloud mapping problem will tell you where the particular computing resource is located. That means the physical resources. The user normally they don't worry about these things, but in a background we have to allocate the resources based on this cloud mapping problem. You may sit in US and you have a best service provider in US for the same cost, but instead of accessing that US server, if you access the Indian server, this will cause you to lose some money on your network usage, or it will cause some delay. These kinds of problems are solved using this cloud mapping problem. Next we have another paper that is towards trusty resource scheduling in cloud. So what is the objective of the work? To schedule the resources by considering user requirements and infrastructure properties. This is one more resource management technique. Here the user or the service provider allocates a particular resource to task based on the physical infrastructure properties. So what is the proposed work? The proposed work, the author proposes a novel cloud scheduler considers the user requirement and infrastructure property. So what is meant by infrastructure property? If infrastructure property is nothing but if your cloud resource providers is keep on allocating resources to task without monitoring the available resource, then what happen after allocating some 100 virtual machines? The server may automatically get slowed down. So here the author proposes a method that not only considers as a task, but it also considers as a physical infrastructure properties. For that the author proposed a cloud scheduler that considers user requirement and infrastructure properties. The algorithm focuses on assuring the users that the virtual resources are hosted using physical resources that matches the requirement without getting user involved with understanding the details of cloud infrastructure. In a single word, in a single sentence, this tells the cloud infrastructure that is allocated to the task is having enough physical resources in the cloud computing infrastructure, and that assures a trouble-free computing for the task till completion. So what are all the methodology used here? The trustworthy scheduling algorithm that can manage the cloud infrastructure by managing the cloud infrastructure by considering both user requirement and infrastructure properties, and it still consider policies. So the trustworthy software agent automatically manages the collections of properties of the physical resources. Here they are putting as software agents that manages the cloud computing resources, and based on the number of VMs running, it will deny for a new VM request, or it transfer the new VM request to another server. And this is my base paper, and the title is Dynamic Optimization of Multi-Attribute Resource Allocation in Self-Organizing Cloud. As of now, I have discussed about 4 papers, and all the 4 papers are based on centralized cloud architecture. So what is centralized cloud architecture? In centralized cloud architecture, all the resources are managed in one place. So what are all the drawbacks in this? The first drawback is very simple. As I already told, you already having a computing resource and you already invested huge money on your computing resource. You are going to access resources by paying some money from your service provider. So now what happens to your existing IT infrastructure? You are going to use only a simple web browser that consumes only 1% or 2% of your computing resource. So what happens to your remaining 98% of computing resource? It is left unused. Here the author proposing a concept called self-organizing cloud. In self-organizing cloud, the author going to use existing resources or existing hardware components in your computer that is going to act as a service provider, or these computing resources are added to your client cloud infrastructure, or sorry, it's not client and it's a server cloud or a service provider cloud infrastructure. Here the client and the server both act as a service provider and service consumer. The prices are based on how much computing capacity that you are allocating to the cloud resource provider and how much capacity that you are computing or you are consuming from the cloud resource provider. In self-organizing cloud, the author focuses on 2 key issues. So what are all the 2 key issues? The first issue is locating a proper node in a self-organizing cloud. As I already told you, self-organizing cloud comprises of your own computing resources into cloud infrastructure. So the server sits in US still want to find your computer resources in India. So the author proposes a protocol called PGCAN, that is modified from a CAN protocol that is used in grid computing to locate resources. So why the author not used CAN? The reason is very simple. The CAN, content addressable network, is suitable for a normal traditional grid computing. It uses or it nodes the whole computing resources as a single unit, and it does not support VM concepts. So that is why the author modified it as PGCAN, and during the entire course of action only one query message is passed throughout the network, that is throughout the world. If a cloud infrastructure provider have a network throughout the world, then a single message is passed throughout the world to find appropriate resources for you. Then we have another issue. The author focuses on another issue. That issue is how to optimize a task execution time by determining optimal shares of multi-attribute resource allocations to allocate the task with various QoS constructions such as accepted execution time and limited budget. So first here I would like to tell about the task need of computing resources. At the time of submitting the task to the resource provider, the task also provides its accepted weight vector, that is the required computing power, and the service provider will always assign the computing power that is greater than this accepted weighted vector to provide optimal task execution. But think, once the process start executing, once the VM is allotted to the particular task, what happens when the task completes its execution? Here the resource may stay idle for long time without using. So that's why here the author saying to use those unused resources effectively among the running virtual machines to improve the task execution time. So these are all the 2 issues focused by this authors, and this is the complete diagram that tells you what happens after you submitted your task to the cloud resource provider. The node number 1 takes care of task submission. Here the user is going to submit the task. Then second, range query for virtual resources. Now the task is submitted to task 1 and task 1 don't have the capacity to run that particular task submitted to 1. Now it is searching for the resources. It is searching for the resources in the internet. It tries to find the resources in another node, but still in node 2 it failed to find the resource. So the message returned back to 1, and now the one that the first machine where the task is submitted is now searching for the resources in node number 4, and in node number 4 that node has the optimal resource for that particular task. So it is start executing that particular task, and it's completed the task, and after completing the task the node 4 sends a task finish and a result transmission to the node number 1 where the actual task is submitted. So this is the overall picture, and here the author focus on only two issues. One is range query for virtual resources and another one is optimal resource allocation. First, PGCAN. This PGCAN protocol is used for resource discovery. PGCAN stands for Pointer Grouping Content Addressable Network. So what is mean by CAN? So CAN is used in grid computing to maintain the available resources in grid infrastructure. So CAN normally maintains a hash table. The node joining in a grid registers its IP address into this hash table. But why it is not sufficient in cloud computing? The reason is very simple. The cloud computing hardware resources are multiplexed or simulated using a VM software or a VM virtual machine manager. But in grid computing, the entire CPU capacity is allotted for the task. The task may use 1% of the computing resource, or the task may use 2% of the computing resource, but the whole machine is allotted to particular task. So that is why this particular concept is not ideal for our cloud computing, because in cloud computing this hash table requires a frequent modification that is not supported in the CAN protocol. So here the PGCAN is developed, which passes only one query message throughout the network for locating your resource for the particular task, for your task. Here they have a concept called duty node. The duty node automatically updates about the cloud resources to this hash table. Then we have DOPS, that is for optimizing a task execution time. So DOPS stands for Dynamic Optimal Proportional SAR. So DOPS dynamically scales the amount of resources at each dimensions among running tasks proportional to the demand. So what is mean by dimension here? The dimension is nothing but, we can say, a processor is a dimension and hard disk is a dimension, and we can say our RAM is also one dimension. So by using this technique we can dynamically allocate resources based on the required dimension. So if a task requires more memory power, we can allocate a more RAM capacity to that particular task, and those RAM is not taken from outside of your allotted resources. It is taken from the allotted resources that is provided to you. So this will save your cost. Next, these are the algorithms used in this paper, and the first algorithm is compute optimal resource vector. Compute optimal resource vector is an algorithm. It's used to compute the optimal resource that is required to complete a task, and this detail is submitted to the cloud infrastructure provider at the time of submitting the task. Then we have slice handler. So what is slice handler? Slice handler activated periodically to scale the amount of resources allocated to tasks such that each running task can acquire additional resources proportional to their demand. As I already told earlier, if a particular task requires an additional RAM, then it will take the additional RAM from your existing allocated cloud infrastructure. it is not going to take this additional RAM outside of your allotted cloud infrastructure. This will save your money. Then we have event handler. So event handler is responsible for resource distribution upon the event of task arrival and completion. So assume you are allotted with some computing resource for 10 tasks, and if your 5 tasks completed its execution before actual execution time due to some nature, then this 5 computing resources is left unused. But with the help of this event handler, we can easily allocate these resources to required tasks by using the slice handler algorithm. Then we have pointer sending hoping manner. So pointer sender is used in PGCAN protocol to send the resource request query to different hopes. Then we have pointer relay. So pointer relay is a concept where you are going to send, that means you are going to pass the hopes, like if you are send the message from node number 1 and node number 2 is receiving it and node number 2 don't have the resources, then the node number 2 will again pass the same request to node number 3. This kinds of things happens in this pointer relay algorithm. Then we have a resource query algorithm. So resource query algorithm is nothing but a found list. So in the previous step I told that pointer relays are moving to different hopes. So once the particular hope find its resources is sufficient for the task weighted vector, then it send a found list to the task. Then the task is migrated to that particular node or a particular hope. So these are all the algorithms used in this particular paper. So what is the problem statement in this particular paper? Here there is no migration technique defined for failure of operational node due to a system failure or networking failure. SOC, self-organizing cloud, is built with zones. A zone is nothing but a group of computer. You can consider the nodes that is operating within Tamil Nadu as one nodes. Think if any network failure happens in the whole Tamil Nadu zone, in the middle of Tamil Nadu zone, then what happened to all of these nodes? And there is no class of service offered in SOC. So SOC is comprised of large number of computing capacity that comes outside from the cloud infrastructure. I may provide a core i5 machine to my cloud provider, and my friend may provide an Atom processor to my cloud service provider. If the resource provider is charging the same money to all the tasks, then what is the need of coming into this concepts of budget? So that is why I am planning to divide this infrastructure resources based on the classes, like the i5 or another process i5. For example, I tell you I am going to classify i5 i7 processors or and in a higher level processor. Then I am going to keep i3 in a middle level. Then I am going to keep Pentium dual core or Celeron processors in lower level. So these are the problems available in this paper. And as I already told you, my proposed system is going to focus on migration of this virtual machine to reserved nodes in cloud infrastructure. This is first case, and in the second case I am going to provide a class of service to the users. And this is the architecture of my proposed system. Here we have a cloud, and after cloud we have self-organizing cloud. Sorry, it's a client, and after client we have self-organizing cloud. In self-organizing cloud we have a concept called in multiple number of computers that is come and participate in this network. Then we have a P2P protocol, PGCAN protocol here, that is used to find the resources. Then here we have 3 servers. This 3 servers is nothing but the class of servers. Maybe in the first part, in the first server I am going to put a group of i5 and i7 processors, and in the second server part I am going to put an 3 machine, and in the server part I am going to put a normal Pentium dual core machine. So based on my client resource request, my service provider allocate a particular processor to that particular task. And so here in the below you can find R cloud. So what is R cloud? R cloud is nothing but this is a reserve cloud where if any of the particular zone is failure, then those particular VMs are migrated and placed here for temporary time period. Once if it is repaired, then these VMs are migrated to its old location. These are my architecture diagram. Now it's time for conclusion. So in my proposed system, help the SOC to operate all VM without any interruption during failure of operational nodes. This is one part, and the task now can choose the available class of services instead of using a preset budget for resources, because using preset budget for resources becomes meaningful, and the client users i5 machine have to pay the same charge, and the client users the Atom processor will have to pay again the same charge. This makes a simply cloud self-organizing cloud that is not sufficient for billing based on the resource assessed by the client. So my solution definitely will takes out this problem from the self-organizing cloud. And thank you for listening.